Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about today's recipe. It is a simple split yellow mung dal crepe made even more delicious with chef's choice coconut milk. Let's go. You're gonna love, love, love this recipe. First, we're gonna gather our ingredients, and you don't really need a lot for this recipe, which is just amazing. About a half cup of split mung dal. Traditionally, mung dal is green with the skin, but this is a split without the skin, so it looks yellow. And all you're gonna do is put it in a bowl with water and let it sit and soak while you prep the rest of your ingredients. That's all you need to do. You do not need to cook this legume. It's gonna be perfect the way it is. You're also going to need a quality coconut milk. And in this recipe, as in all my recipes that require coconut milk, I use Chef's Choice. Their coconut milk is phenomenal. You want an entire can. This recipe originally called for a little bit less than that 13-ounce can, but I find, you know what, why not just use it up? And so use that entire can. We've got some flour. You could use rice flour, which is traditional. Here I've used a 1/3 cup of quinoa flour. Rice flour helps crisp up your crepe, so that's just a great alternative. Quinoa flour works similarly. You could also use regular whole wheat all-purpose flour, whatever you would like, a 1/3 cup. We've got a little bit of sweetener. You could use regular sugar. I use a sucanat, which is a sugar cane sugar, about 1.5 teaspoons. And then I've got just regular salt, 1/2 teaspoon, and to give it the golden, beautiful color, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder. And now you want to put all of those ingredients in a high power blender. I have a Vitamix here, which is a perfect way to blend it down incredibly smoothly. So you see that we've got the drained mung, which is right here at the bottom. We've got our flour in here. We have our salt, our turmeric powder, a little bit of that sugar, and then we've got our coconut milk that's gonna go right in here. Now, I will say that the coconut milk adds just this level of richness and beautiful sweetness to this recipe. It is a great little addition and a great way to make these crepes. All right, so we've got our lid on securely, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my power is off, as we always do with our Vitamix. Turn it all the way down very low and start slow, and then we'll build up. Now here we go. We'll go ahead and stop it. I will take the lid off and I'm gonna push down some of the product, like right here on the side, and then I'm gonna blend it again until it's completely smooth. And now that we've finished blending, let's go ahead and take the lid off and pour it into a container. I love using my reused glass jars. They're just a great way to recycle, and I love storing everything in glass, so they become a beautiful way to not only store, but also to see everything that's in there in the fridge. You don't have to buy expensive containers, and it is always better to store your food in glass. That is something that really we talk about quite a bit in Indian culture, Ayurveda. All of that is really key in terms of storage, if you can. And if not, no worries. I also like these jars because I can really get a spoon in there and dole it out when I go to cook it up. But this is your batter. Now you can take this batter and strain it to get it even thinner, but I find that you really don't need to. It should look like a frothy, slightly yellow milkshake. And this is the perfect consistency why would you want to get rid of any of the protein and the fiber by straining it through a cheesecloth or whatever it is? I don't feel that you really need that extra step, but if you do, feel free. Look how beautifully smooth this is. Watch this. Just want to have you see, look. And that's your batter. We're essentially going to make gorgeous crepes from this batter. So let's go. Now, once you create the batter, you want to stick it in the fridge. So let it just kind of cool down for about a half an hour, and then you want to cook it up. So I've got a jar that I already made, pulled it out of the refrigerator. I've got a pan warming here. I've just sprayed it with a little bit of oil. It's nice and warm. And I'm going to go ahead and take about a 1/4 cup of batter. Let's pour it in here. That's about it, folks. Now, if you want a larger crepe, that's okay. Just use a little bit more batter. We're gonna let that kind of cook there. And another neat trick that I learned from watching my mother and my grandmother cook, these in India are called puras, not crepes. Just put a little tiny bit of oil around the side. That'll go right under, and that'll enable you to lift it right off the pan super easily. If you feel that you need to kind of cover this, just get another saute pan as I've done here, and or a lid, obviously, but this is great because this pan is a little higher, so it gives you that ability to really lock in that heat without touching any product. And just 30 seconds or so, we'll let that cook through. And then look at that. If you want it thinner and crispier, well, you just have to kind of play with it and work with it. And there you have it. Look how beautiful that looks. And you're just gonna keep making these, and you're gonna put them on a tray over here lined with some paper towels or a clean dish rag, and let it just kind of sit. They'll cool down a bit. I like to press them down a tiny bit as well, just to make sure they are indeed cooked through, but they're quite thin, so you really don't need a lot of cooking. And that's it. We're gonna just take it over here, put them down, and we're gonna continue to make them until we are done, because we have so much beautiful batter. Let's just make one more real quick. Here it is. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. One thing I will say, you're noticing the heat is kind of high. We want to pull it down a little bit just to make sure we don't burn anything. Let's lock in all that steam. Cook it beautifully through. And oh, we forgot that oil. Let's do that too, just a little bit. You don't need a ton. It could be any oil. Coconut oil will be a terrific one for this. Use the coconut milk. Would make a lot of sense. There it is. And remember, as you make these, the second, third, fourth, fifth are going to be better and better and better because your pan is hotter. That's just the way it works. And you can do lots of things with these. You can eat them as is. You can put sauteed tofu, mung sprouts in here with a little bit of soy sauce. You could also eat it maybe with an Indian dish, whatever you want. It's a great low carb option for bread as well. And what I think is fun is just kind of breaking a little piece off and trying it. So delicious. So good. You're gonna love this recipe. And give it a try, folks. It is really special. It's really easy to make. The batter will last about 5 days in the fridge. So you can have these cooked up and whipped up super easy anytime.